And Kevin, we are just getting word from U.S. figure skating that in a statement from them that several members of the figure skating community are believed to have been on board that regional jet flying from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C. There was the U.S. Figure Skating Championship wrapped up on the 26th in Wichita. We believe that there was a development camp following that may have just wrapped up, and it may have been figure skaters from that development camp who were on board that flight which collided with the helicopter. We've also heard from the Russian news agency TASS that a Russian figure skater and coach who are apparently married were also on board that flight. Joining us now, Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gaub, who is a former Army battalion commander and Black Hawk pilot. Lieutenant Colonel Gaub, thank you for being here. Tell me a little bit about, from your experience as a Black Hawk pilot, as I understand it, they have been on visual flight rules, Colonel. How does that impact the things that you see and do in a nighttime flight like that?
Yeah, Jonathan. Well, first of all, being in a helicopter like that, you're nearly always operating close to the ground, especially around D.C., within 200 feet or so of the ground. And as has already been mentioned, the potential for that having been deviated from to have climbed to a higher altitude may be a significant point if proven to be a fact. Now, operating under visual flight rules versus instrument flight rules. On instruments, you're listening to an air traffic controller who is telling you what altitude to hold, what heading to hold, and really guiding you through the skies. And your life is in their hands, and you're operating under some procedures, but you're also operating under basically the ability to be directed on almost everything you do. Visually, that specific airfield, of course, and I've flown over it myself, you're operating off of mostly communications and procedures. Those are the two things that struck me the most when I saw at least the video that we've seen so far tonight. And there's much more we don't know, but they're restricted to a certain space, vertically, horizontally, altitudes, all these things, these corridors that are built. You have to stay within those, and they're built for a specific reason to create the separation. But because aviation is a human endeavor, and you're relying on the pilots of this aircraft to be able to be disciplined in their airmanship enough to adhere to those procedures, the ability to go from 200 feet to 350 feet, if for some reason you've stopped paying attention even for a few seconds, it is pretty easy to do. So that's one of the concerns I have. The second one would be the communications with air traffic control, be they radar or tower or both. What were they said? What were they told about the aircraft's location? Could they see it? And what did the fixed wing say as well? Was there something wrong in there? Don't know yet. That remains to be seen. But it's critical to note that this aircraft, the Black Hawk, the Lima model Black Hawk specifically, does not have your standard voice recorder black box that people are used to hearing about. You're going to have to rely on the external recordings of the tower air traffic control and the videos that you've seen taken from various cameras around D.C. piece together some of that.
Running out of time here. Let me ask you this quickly. Do we read anything into the fact that this was a training flight? Does that mean that you've got a brand new pilot in there? Does it mean that you've got an experienced pilot training new things? Or could it mean absolutely anything?
It could mean anything. It could be an inexperienced problem. It could be something that we're not even tracking. And I believe that's the answer that is going to have to come from the DoD investigation into the actual experience level and all the things that they would do to dig into the entire flight profile all the way back to the pre-launch procedures that are normally adhered to. So right now I wouldn't read too much into that yet.
Okay. Colonel, we got to wrap it up there for this hour. Thank you so much for all your expertise.